Well, this is Baruch Fleischman here. I'm at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and let me get myself, get this machinery up and put it on the page where we want to talk here about the fourth day of the week. This is the Zohar for the fourth day of the week. It's the Netzach. On page Kuf base. We are learning Parshas Vayikra. Now, one of the ideas, or the idea that we're basically talking about here, is the concept that the sefirot have alternate names. And the alternate names really tell us also a pshat in the sefirah, as we're going to see. So up here we're going to just read across the top, try to get involved in this, and it says like this. Kadmor, the first sefirah, is called Yak, Yud and K together. Begin the Yud because the Yud called it K, because you can find a way, there is a way to make the Yud into a K. Also the K nafka mi Yud. Also this K comes out of the Yud, but you could also find the K that's on the Yud that's on the K. Begin ka chochma yak ikri. Since the reason is that there's an exchange between the Yud and the Yud is in the K and the K is in the Yud, so therefore he wants to say that it's called yak by that name ikri, and that's the word for chochma. Tinyana, the second sefirah, is called Hashem. But it's menukad Elokim de Ikre Elokim, that we see it in the Torah, we call it Elokim. Begin the Hahu Nahor Rachame, because this river is a river of mercy. Begin the Dinim is Arimene, so you have a combination. On the one hand, Bina represents pure Rahmanas, but at the same time, little bits of redness start there, and that's where they develop. And as a result of that, begin the Dinim is Arimene. So from Bina, that's where Dinim start. He says, Nafka Elokim, so therefore they come, Elokim is Lashon Din, so therefore even though that Bina is a Havaya, but the Nakuda that goes with her is that of Elokim. Asfen de Racham and Ksiv, the letters themselves are the letters of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which is Rachame. The Nakod Elokim, but it has the Nakudos of Elokim below Elokim Dina, but it doesn't mean Elokim itself. It just means there is an aspect of Din in Bina. Till they saw. So now the third one is the word kale. So he said, but it's not just kale. V'hu gedula. It's a kale that goes with the word gadol. V'hu ikri ha-kale ha-gadol. And he explains that this represents chesed. Raviyah, the fourth one, is Elokim. There is really Elokim. The din in Bay is Aram, because there is where you see a manifestation of all that red din. V'hu din tikifa. It's a powerful din. Chamisha is the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. So the fifth one, it's called Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which is Tiferes, because that, in fact, is the name of Rachmanas. Klal of the Kol Shalima de Bamunul. So this has the incorporation in it of all faith. In other words, all attachment to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. V'dahu Rachmei B'Shlima. This is really the ultimate Rachmanas. V'dahu Tiferes, and this is what we call Tiferes. So he says Shasisa. Now the sixth one, and the Shaviyah, and the seventh one, which are really Netzach and Hod, they're called Svakos. Now, this is another subject in a different place. That's what they're called. So we have them labeled. Feminoah, now the eighth sefirah is called Kale Chai. It's also a Kale, but it has another name with it, which is Chai. Kamadat Omar, like you say like this. Ki Sham Siva Hashem as Ha-Bracha Chaim, because that's where Hashem commanded the bracha as it was alive. V'dot tzaddik the kol chaim nafki minah. And this is the tzaddik that all of life comes out from it. Now that means yesod. The ikre Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Not only is Tiferes called Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, but also yesod has that name too. Kamadat Dama, like you say like this, Hashem tzaddik yivchan. Hashem the tzaddik, which means yesod. Hashem, that name of Rachmanis, Yivchan, that's where he could distinguish this way from that way, where to go. V'da he vav ze'ira. So that is another idea, is that Yisod represents a little vav, not a big vav, the Shema Kedusha, it's a little vav, begin kach, and you can understand it like this. That when you say the word vav, you can't just say va, because that's not it. You have to have another vav at the end of it, vav. And that's to give you the idea that there's two different kinds of vavs. There's a vav refers to Tiferes, and a vav that refers to Yesod. Vavim trin means two. And now we're coming around the corner, and we're going to read the rest of it, and it says like the Tashi Ah. Now, the ninth one is the name Adni. What is Adni? Vadon Malchus Kadisha. Adni is another name for Malchus Kadisha. The Dinin Nafkin Mitaman La Alma, because it is from this place, this concept of Adni, this concept of Malchus, that Dinim come into our world. V'dohu Kisra Basra Dekuhu Shemohim, and this is the final Kesser, whatever that means there, the final one, Dekuhu Shemohim, of all of the names. Now he says one more. This is one that is, in my mind, trying to locate it, and he tells me why. He says, V'shem Akia. Akia is going to be the 10th one. Akia Klala Ustima de Kadmisa. So Akia is a name which means basically I will be. It's incorporated, Ustima, and closed up, Bekadmisa, in the ultimate Kesser, in the highest Kesser. V'doku Kisrei Law. This refers to the ultimate Kesser. Resha, the called Reshin, the head of all heads. Shmei Sasim, its name, that is that name Akia, is closed up there. Velo is Galia ve'itmar. So we've discussed it, but it's not revealed. V'sifta agadata eser shmachim kasivin. Now he writes like this. There's also another agadata, where they also have different substitute names to tell pshat in the 10 sefiros. Kagabna achra. It's like in a different way, though. It's not like ours. But we're not going to learn that over here. That's what Rebbe Shimon is telling us. So let's go over here and let's look a little bit on the Matak Midrash and see what's really going on a little bit more. He says, Maskil Lefarish as Shemas HaSfiros. Now I'm going to explain names of the Sfiros. So we're beginning from Chochmah. So let's understand Kesser is not one of the 10 sefiros, because Kesser comes from a different dimension. It's beyond beyond the dimension, the ceiling, or the ability for Zer Anpin to know it's there. It comes into Zer Anpin because it's requested that Zer Anpin should grow. And so this dimension of higher consciousness, like a cloud, comes into Zer Anpin. So he said, we're going to explain this later. The Zesh Amakadimah is Yak. So the first one is called Yak, Yud K. Shem Rishon Ku Yak, Shuhu HaChochma, which refers to Chochma. Now there's 2 letters there, not just Chochma. Begin the Yud Kalil Hey. He says why? Because the Yud can be made in such a way that it has a Hey. You could see a Hey, Lefisha Yud Kalil Hey. Koloma the Visha Osios Vav and Dalad. That is, when you take the Yud, you can't say the word Yud. And this, once again, I want to say that this is the distinction that Rebbe Memran is just pointing. It's very obvious. Sound waves coming from our mouths actually make completions in all different kinds of creations with them. So by the saying the word, the letter Vav as it appears on the page is one thing. But implied in the pronunciation are 2 other letters, and we've seen that before, which is the Vav and the Daled. And the Vav and the Daled shall milui Yud Vav Daled. You do that. And that's where you find the Chochma, which represents that. Na'asis os hey the Bina. You can make a hey out a hey, which we refer to Bina. Then he says the hey nafka min Yud, but the hey comes that silly means it's a Yud. Excuse me, min Yud. The hey yotzes min Yud, kolomer bina yotzes min chochma. That is, bina comes out from chochma. Begin ka chochma yak ikri. So therefore, since bina is really born, as we say, out of that vav dalet, so therefore we see it's really a part of chochma. So v'lechein ha-chochma nikras yak. So it has both of them. The fisha bina kolul rema, because bina is incorporated with it. Besod Haben b'chochma. So that we see another Haben b'chochma. This is say for Yitzira. So it's a tinyana. So then here's the second one. He says is Havaya, but it has this funny nikud. So he says Shem Hasheni, who Hashem Havaya, but nikud Elokim, but it has a nikud of the name Elokim, which is Lashon Din. Shenikra b'kriyas atera Elokim, because when we see this word menukad, we know it's menukad like that. We read it as Elokim v'hu habina, and it refers to Bina itself. Begin to hahu nahu rachme lefi shebina hi bechinas rachme, because Bina is mercy. But because dinim are aroused from bina, kasav osios Hashem havaya shuhu rachamim. So therefore we have the name havaya by itself if you had no nekudos, which recommends rachamim. But then when you bring in the nekudos of menukad benigud shem elokim shuhu din, and then you have to put the concept there is dinim there. Below Elokim din, but it's not the basic Elokim, which is din. Eno shem Elokim ba'osiosav kamoha gevura dezashuhu din. And the translation, it is not, it is the pronunciation. Once again, the pronunciation is Elokim, but the letters themselves are not the letters of Elokim, because in gevura, that's where you find the Elokim. Till they saw the third one is the name Kael. Kemashlishuhu Kael. Hanizke bepasuk l'kol Hashem hagadula, because we have Hashem hagadula. The hainu chesed is there anpin, because chesed is called gadol or gadula. The fisha shagam hayisod nikra kael. So later we're going to see that the yisod is called the kael chai. So here chesed is called kael too, but it's called a different kael. L'chein amar. So therefore it says shachesed nikra kael hagadol, should be called the great kael. Aval shem kael should be yisod nikra lo nikra gadol. It's not called a gadol, but it's called chai. Moving on. Harivi hu elokim should be gevura. So the fourth one is the elokim that we find in gevura, which is the real elokim. V'chatam shem elokim ku b'loshen rabim. So why is it plural? The fi shedinim rabim is ordem al yado, because there is a lot going on there. Many dinim are aroused from this gevura. V'hu din chazak, and it's a powerful din. Ki shem Elokim hu lashon chayzid, because the name Elokim itself is a lashon of power. Ki bebina chadinim mis'orinim bedakos v'nachas, because when we said before that we take the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, we manuka, we put the vowels in of Elokim, that's to show you that there's dinim there. But when you come to the real name Elokim, then it means something else. They are powerful and they're revealed. They're out in the open. So he says Shema Ramishi is the name Havaya itself, which always refers to Tferes. So he says Hu Kolol. It has within it Kol Shleimus Haramuna, all of the complete attachment to the faith in the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Ki daled osios havayas. Let's take the four letters of the havaya kolelas as called partsufim atzilus, has within it all of the partsufim of atzilus. Ki kodzo shal yud hu sod erik anpin. Let's face this now. The tip of the yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei refers to erik anpin. The yak heim abba ve'ima. Then after that, the yud, that's the tip on the yud, is erik anpin. But the letters themselves, yud and k, refer to abba ve'ima. And then, of course, the last two letters of the Havaya are Vav Kei Heim Zun. They refer to Zun. V'zehu Rachamim B'Shleimus. So this is talking about complete and total Rachmanis. Kolomar Hagam Shachar Teferes Kolo Gam Es Gevura. So let's talk about Teferes. Teferes has within it all the sefirot, because that's the middle line. It combines right, left, and it has its plunge down to Yesod. So he said, Kolomar Hagam Teferes Kolo Eskola Gevura, as Gevura, because Teferes has Gevura in it as well. But the basic idea, even calls that Ein Rachamav Chaserin Davar, because the Rachmanis of this is not taken away. What he wants to say is that the concept of Rachmanis is the middle line. And he said, but the middle line contains the left line, which is not Rachamim at all. So he answers, Ki HaTeferes Noita Yosef the Chesed, because the Teferes, even though it's in the middle, but it's the middle right. Wants to be on the right. Shebeyamin ma'ashech the gevura should be small. So in other words, it's not evenly balanced. It's always tilting to try to bring gevura into chesed. V'do hu teferes. This is teferes. Zehu teferes. V'hu meloshen pe'eros v'hanofim. This is the concept of branches and leaves. Not pe'eros, but branches. Al shem havok hanechlalim, but because inside of the teferes is six sefirot, chesed gevura teferes netzach and yisod. V'gam teferes hu meloshen pear. So it's also the kind of something beautiful, v'yofi. Ki hu yafa barachamav, because it's beautiful in its mercy. Now a little bit more. We have a little bit more we can do. So it says Shem Hashishi and the Shem Hashavi'i. they refer to Netzach and Hod. These are Trey, we say a lot of different places, but I'm messing up these pages. Refers to Netzach and Hod. And in Netzach and Hod, what we're dealing with here is Trey Palgi Gufa. Trey Palgi the Gufa, the two halves of one body. In other words, it's the Kabbalists seem to think that there's really a concept of one leg, but the leg gets divided into right and left in Zeranpen, that's the way it goes. Let's go on some more. Shem Hashemini is the name Kael Chai. This name refers to Yesod. V'chatam Nikra Chai. Why is it called Chai, living? Kamosha Ne'emer Katal Hermon, like the dew of Hermon. Now, Tal, we understand, is a Kabbalistic word. Sheyored al Hararet Zion, that falls down onto the mountains of Sion. What's Sion? But Sion is another word for Yesod. Shehu HaTeferes, which is Teferes. In other words, so he said, wait a minute. Yesod is not Teferes. So what are we saying here exactly? I seem to be losing where I'm going to want to go. Here we go. Okay. So he says, Ha'ru'uya lahashpias lamata. So this concept is that the Yud-K Vav-K is in Teferes, but he wants to say that it's also related to Yesod, because this is the Yesod which is fit to be able to pour down Shefa down below, Lamata. So he said, but it's alive. V'hu Chaim, ad ha'olam, it lives forever. Pirush, hu mashpia Shefa Chaim, they call it Nimsarim Sheba'olam, because it pours out bounty and goodness and life and the energy of life to all of the world. So this is the concept that we have here, is that the tzaddik, which is Yesod, the tzaddik, he is the Yesod of the world. Shukol Chai Ha'olam Yotzeh B'Shem, because everything that exists comes from Yesod. But the fi she'ein shem kael iker b'Yesod. So let's try to understand this. We had this problem before with Chesed. Chesed is called Kael Hagadol. Here, the word kael is not really the iker part of the Yesod. Ki hu meshutaf gam b'Chesed, because that name has to go with Chesed too. So therefore we see that the second name is really one that describes the nature of the Kael. V'chein Omer, so that it says like this, V'nikra gam b'shem Huvaya k'macha b'Teferes, so it also has the same name as Teferes. K'moshe ne'emer, like it says like this, Hashem tzadik yivchon. What does that mean? Pirush Yesod, the Nikra tzadik, Yesod which is called tzadik. Nikra gam Havaya also sometimes is called Havaya, because it pours out mercy. Who yivchan as b'nei ha'adam, and it distinguishes between people. V'chein nikra ha'yesod Havaya k'ayin the Teferes. So therefore, the Yesod is called Havaya, and it's similar to Teferes. Why? Ki ha'yesod hu sod vav ketana, because it's a secret of a small vav. Shel shem ha'kodesh Havaya. So you say that Yud K Vav. Well, there's two vavs. Remember we said before that when you say the word vav, you automatically get two vavs. Begin b'kach vav vavim trin. The fi she'ein vav shel Havaya kishem avatayim ozacha b'peh. So when you say it, you utter it out of your mouth. Yotzes imocha b'vav acheres, comes out another vav. V'chein nechshav ki'ilu yesh vav beis vavim. So there, it's as if there are two vavim there, one big, one little. Arishon b'Teferes, and the second vav, the shnai shnia, is in Yesod. Let's see if we can get a little bit more out of this, or just a few more minutes. And it says, the Zohar says, and I'm reading really as you see, let me get down here, the Matak B'Davash only, so we can see as much as we can. He says, Yeshema Teshihi Hu Adni. He says, Malchus Kedusha. This is the secret of the Malchus of Kedusha. Hamolechas Hakol Chayli Hamelcha, who rule over all of the hosts of the king. So what does this mean? Al Helyonim, that is that what is up above it. Val Tachtoinim, and what's below it. In other words, it's a Makabel and it's a Mashpia. Vafil Al Ritzoinim, even things that really not true. It pours out everywhere. Of course, the Chitzonim are not incorporated in it, God forbid, but they are around Malchus. The Chain he Nikras Kedisha, so therefore she's called Kedisha, which is a lashon of separation. The Nikras Adni, and she's also called Adni B'Lashon Rabim. Lefi shedinim rabim yotzim misham la'olam, because a lot of dinim come out from there, always, continuously. V'hamalchus hi sefira achrona. This is the final sefira. Shall call the shemos of all the names. Shehema yud sefira shall olam atzilut. So let's see if we can just, I think we're going to stop right here. I think we got the main part of what I wanted to say here in the Zohar. So if you get a chance to listen to it, it's going to be a real blessing for you. You understand a little bit more of the pshat that's going into the 10 sefirot. This is Baruch Fleischman. This is the 4th day of the month, of the week of Vayikra. And